It's really important that I
True.
shake off the character that I play because I play some really,
Interesting
just to use the
characters.
word interesting, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to bring them home.
So how do you do that? How do you manage? How do you balance?
It's almost like rehab. So it's a detox type thing where you have to go through a process to flush out.
After every
Yes,
single
because if you're going to do justice to a character, you have to become that character and take on, the persona, the character. You think like the character. So if the person is somebody who easily gets angered and enraged, there's a thought process that makes that person go along those lines. Each character has different ways that they respond, different ways that they process things. You don't want to take a nasty character home.
Sit down, let's talk about that.
Hi, my name is Deyemi Okanlawon. I am an actorpreneur. A lot of people, would consider me an actor, but that's just a little bit of who I really am. I always say that I'm a businessman first. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My mom ran a bakery called Baker's World, and I grew up in that system, helping out to sell her cake and her bread and other things she had in the store. But I followed my dad. He's an engineer, an aircraft engineer, and I decided I wanted to study engineering. So I had this the opportunity to live in a family where sciences was as important as arts and creativity. I studied chemical engineering at the University of Lagos. After which I started a career in sales and marketing. I rose, worked in different companies, and just kept growing up until I was the head of marketing for one of the top 3 e-commerce companies in Nigeria, OLX. All the while, I had been doing stage plays and drama at faith-based, groups until 2013 when I resigned from OLX to start a career as an actor. And since then, I have been in quite a few movies. I've been in arguably the most Netflix original films to date. And that's just one part of it. I've ran so far 3 businesses. I'm on my 4th, I'm about to start my 5th business. The first company was QuickLinks Marketing Solutions. And the second was Sales Target Company. Then I started one of my really successful businesses was Covenant Entertainment Services, and a few of my friends and I got together to do some really interesting stuff. We started Quadco. 4 of us started Quadco, and as I said, I'm about to start my 5th company, and I'm really excited about it. So yes, a lot has happened over the past few years, but that's not how it started. About wanting to be an actor, I never thought about a career as an actor. But my earliest memories of acting was probably about the age of 5, when I was in every single primary school play. But I've always loved stories. I grew up being engrossed, being in awe of books, Enid Blyton's, Famous Five, Secret Sevens, some very, very imaginative books. So my mind was always very active. And I remember that even then, I always felt like I was inside the story. It wasn't like something separate from me. It always felt like I was inside. Case in point, I read a book, and I'd read the book, and I was passing by the TV, and I saw a scene, and I was like, this is the, because I had envisioned it exactly as it was. By the time I got to secondary school, it just wasn't cool to be acting. You can't be in drama. It's not cool, Chicks were not, what I'm saying? So, sports, you're either doing sports or you're doing, whatever else. So that's how my preteen years, my adolescence to my early teenage years, were just playing around, in secondary school. Got to university, same thing, same thing. And it wasn't up until maybe my fourth or fifth year in studying engineering that I joined a school fellowship. A girl broke my heart. Yes, and I went to go and pray, and God answered me, and my heart stopped paining me. So I said, there's God after all. I found myself in fellowship, and I just found myself in the drama unit, and I was there throughout my time in school. And I realized even then that the more I got involved in drama, the better my grades were getting. It was weird because I was spending a lot of time, but it just felt then like there was some positive energy, so to speak, coming from this thing that I was doing, because my books didn't suffer. In fact, it actually got better. Then I graduated. A friend of mine invited me to the Covenant Christian Center, now Covenant Nation. A girl, again, to go, and I followed her, and I heard some really, really interesting things, and I decided to stay. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep my head down, nobody's gonna know me, I'll be calm, I won't form spirit, just be chilled. So the next thing I just said, the pastor said he would like to see you. And so I had this meeting, and I was expecting to say some, prayer department, come on. And I was like, I'm out. And he goes, he's been thinking about having concerts, for the youth, the church youth. I'm like, okay, that's not that serious. We can do that. Turns out that was a scam, because that was the most spiritual thing I ever done probably till date, because it was really, really powerful, the things that we achieved in Extreme Reaction, and while I was there, I was the head of that, unit. We're doing music, dance, drama concerts, but I was also a member of the senior drama department, headed by the late Benga Kuboni. And these guys were actual thespians. And I took it really seriously. I think then I took everything seriously. And so I was I wouldn't say intentional, I was intense. And, it's church drama, people take things, a bit laid back, and those guys were a bit more serious. So I never complained, never. No matter what it was that they asked, to be done, I would just keep coming and keep learning. I learned a lot. I remember the things that I learned. Stage presence, delivering lines, memorizing. Everything I learned was from there. I didn't realize I was being trained. I was working, I was running my businesses and working at the same time, or at intervals. And random conversation, one time I was supplying something to one of my customers, and I met her son, who was about the same age. I studied engineering, chemical engineering in the US, and we were just chatting about, what are your other interests? And I said, I do a bit of acting. I said, really? I have some friends who study film in America. They want to come shoot a film. They're going to do an audition soon. Would you like to? Well, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go. My first audition. University of Lagos, they took a hall somewhere, got on stage. I did my audition. I guess they liked it because they offered me the role. But then there were these guys who couldn't afford to have their own audition, and they were sitting down in the audience watching the other actors auditioning. Once I got off the stage, they came up to me and said, "Hi, we have a role for you, a lead role in a short film that we're doing." So one audition, 2 roles. My first audition, 2 roles. And I was thinking, something interesting is going on. Those projects came out, people saw it. I get a call from a contact, business contact. It's like, I saw you in a film. That was my secondary school, Ilorin. How much did they even pay me to come to Ilorin? 10,000 naira for like 3 or 4 days. So he said that was his secondary school, that he's been thinking about doing a short film for such a long time. We should come and have a conversation. We did Blink. Blink was probably one of the most innovative films at that time. The opening scene was a guy strapped to a chair underwater. We spent weeks learning breath control so that we could do that shot. and it was and it became viral. You know, I would be out, movie producers, filmmakers would walk up to me and be like, "Hi, my name is so and so. I'm a director. I would love to work with you someday." This was 2010. By 2013, I had done Giddy Up and the likes. I'd done quite a few web series and the likes. Having been raised to save, or having, and also taught myself to save, to invest, and to just be careful with money. I had some savings, and I made a decision to, take a year of work and go do this thing that I really love to do. And then, of course, once I'm done, I just go back to work and make some money, was my thinking, because I didn't even know, I didn't have any idea what was going on in the industry. That was 8 years ago. Yeah. So yes, that's kind of like the transition.
Unfortunately, all sales tap on that day, where I work, all sales tap up. And would they expect me, okay, by in another few days, some money, my wallet, and then but kushelebe. So I want to be see one bill.
Baguette day now, kilo day.
Baguette day. Mama embarrassed me like no. I mean, what kind of nonsense, But that's not the point.
The truth is, I just didn't stop working. That's it. Like, I got to the end of the first year, and there was a project that spilled over to the next year, and another gig came, and another gig came, and another gig came. But again, I've always been very, very particular about self-development. So I study hard as an actor. I read countless books, I take courses, and here's the truth. All of this was really just about me adding value, wanting to add more value. The better I am, the more value I'm adding to a film. And so I just kept honing my skills, because I was like, okay, while I'm here, I might as well make the best of it. And the better I got and the more work I got and the better I got paid, the higher the goals that I started to set. I'm very, very intentional about setting goals. I know the kind of life, I've known for a very long time, the kind of life that I wanted to live, the kind of impact that I wanted to have, first personally, then the people closest to me, my family, my immediate family, my extended family, my community, young people around the world, Acting and being in the film industry happened to make that happen. That's what I believe happened. I think because I knew where I wanted to be, the kind of life I wanted to live, everything that would make me get to that position, happened. And I think acting and being in the film industry is just one of those things, leading me in that direction. I would say, in some places when people ask me, how did you get here? What's your strategy? I say, you know what? If you ever met Joseph and you asked him how he became Prime Minister of Egypt, and he tells you, would you ever think about becoming Prime Minister? If he told you that he had to open his mouth and tell people around him his dreams, and then they hated him for it, and then they sold him off as a slave, and then someone accused him wrongly and he got into jail, and then people forgot about him after he helped them, and eventually he got to be Prime Minister. Would you want to go through that journey? Because that's what I went through. I went through some really, really dark times, times when I was very, very poor. Like I had nothing. I was hungry. I was literally hungry. I might have been existing about 100 naira a day. I could only afford one meal, one proper meal, a day. I remember where I used to eat. I would eat amala, 2 wraps of amala, no meat. I would walk from Shomolu to Surulere and back every single day because I couldn't afford transport. If I take transport, I can't eat. Because at night, I would buy 2 biscow, which 2 for 5 naira, and then Indomie was 40 naira, then buy 1 Indomie. And that's how I would go to bed at night. And I spent all that time, just trying to force myself out of darkness, especially my mind. And years later, my I won't call it wasn't my flatmate. I was squatting in his house, right? It sounds better if you say my flatmate, but no. He was accommodating me. And years later, he would tell me how he used to be so envious of me, that I was so happy, and all that. And I would laugh because every night I'm up singing and dancing. And T.Y. Below's album that year was the hit for me, back to back. The land is green, and there was nothing green about the land at that point in time. And I just kept dancing and praising and worshiping and speaking some very, very, positive things about myself, about my life, the life I was going to live. And things started to happen. I remember coming out of there, having left home, left the family business, which is why I went through that period, because I just walked away. I literally just left everything, because I wanted to see who I am. And I stepped out, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I knew that I knew nothing. I knew I had nothing. At the end of that period, I went to a training program. I saw this advert, employability skills development program. I remember this is me coming from an entrepreneurial background. I ran my mother's business before I left. Started a company, Quick Marketing Solutions, CEO type things. I'm an entrepreneur. I was like, oh God. I was like, yeah, I should go to this training to learn how to employ people. Employability skills development program. I'm gonna go and learn how to employ people and as the boss. I get there, and it's a 1-month training. It's scholarship because we had to do an exam, like a test, and I passed the test. They offered me a scholarship, went to the 1-month training, Workforce Management Center. I'll never forget those guys. And I was there for a month. And they had these people from different fields in corporate coming to speak to us: accounting, marketing, business development, sales, just the different arms, HR, legal stuff. And my mind started to expand. And somewhere in there, people started to talk about what kind of incomes were available in the corporate world. I think I gave myself some sense because I was like, I'm sure that I'm smarter than quite a few of these people. Why am I suffering? I was suffering. And so at the end of the training, I guess the guys at Workforce had seen some things. I was doing some interesting things while I was there with them. At the end of the training, they put me up for three jobs. They gave me 3 job offers. I took one with a company called ProShare, and I remember I'd read Rich Dad and Poor Dad, before then. I was like, okay, this is an interesting place to work. I would learn a bit more about finance, investments and the likes. So I joined the company as the head of marketing for ProShare. I want to take you through some steps because I'm saying all of this, but the steps aren't there. You see, I graduated from University of Lagos with a 3rd class degree. So I went and I started applying myself with my mother's company. I was doing things already because whilst on campus, I was selling bread and cake, making some money. So when they offered me a job, okay, what have I got to lose? With my 3rd class, I'll figure things out along the way. Then I fell in love with sales and marketing. I fell absolutely in love with sales and marketing. I wanted to do more. I wanted to help small businesses grow, like my mother's, which is what birthed Quicklinks. In Quicklinks, I was studying. I spent hours on the internet consuming content about marketing, about sales, and I kept reading and reading, and I taught myself. And I remember then I realized, again, I said, I've known the kind of life I wanted to live for a while. It was then I started to articulate that life. And I would write down, in essence, the goal that I set was to be the head of marketing in a multinational organization, earning in excess of 300,000 naira every month. That was, and I looked at my life, oh, my transportation, accommodation, everything. If I earn 300K a month, I'm fine. I can give my mother some money, pay my tithe. It was clear. I calculated it, and that's how I got to 300,000. I said, it's God, let's just add in excess of so that I can do more. Third class, no formal training in sales and marketing whatsoever. Left Baker's World, started Quick Links, left Quick Links, got into ProShare as a marketing manager, which was really going to be my first real job, right? Not something I created. From there, started Sales Target, then Dealfish hires me. Dealfish was in about 20 countries at that time, so we're touching multinational right now. But I was a category manager in Dealfish. I was managing the jobs section of the site. OLX came into Nigeria and bought over Dealfish. And I remember the day they called me in for an interview. And we went through all the talk and everything. And they said, hi Deyemi, we would love to offer you the head of marketing position. I remember how I felt. It felt like they poured cold water down my spine. And I was like, wait a minute. This is head of marketing in a global organization. By now, I was earning way in excess of that 300,000 naira a month, and it happened. And so the same thing I was doing when I got into this field as an actor, I started to set goals. I knew the kind of life I wanted to live. How's that going to happen? Where do I need to be? How much do I need to earn? What kind of gigs do I need to do? Who do I need to work with? I literally had a business plan for my career as an actor. And I started to talk to people about it eventually, called the business of acting. There has to be a plan. What's your objective? What's your marketing plan going to look like? Who do you want? Exactly, who are you as an actor? What do you believe in?
It is time for my generation to return this country to glory.
I hope that you are not lazy. Lazy Nigerian youth.
Why did I leave my job? Why did I leave OLX for a career in acting? Because I looked back into my life and I remembered how I enjoyed storytelling. I was 5 years old, I was in school, and all the parents knew my name. I remembered how I was in school fellowship and I was doing better in my education, in my academics. Then I remembered how extreme reaction, every time we did a concert, something positive happened in my life. Whether I was getting a new job, I was making some money, whatever. And it just felt like the energy that I was getting from acting, I was pouring into my corporate career. And that's exactly what it felt like. I was getting some kind of energy out of here and pouring it here. So when I got to a place where I needed to make a decision on becoming an actor, I thought about all of these things, and I realized if I'm working as an actor and acting gives me some kind of positive energy, I pour it back into the same thing and get it back again. It's almost like a cycle of life. And a few other things that I had seen happening, I just got a sense that this thing is for me. Even when I started, too many happenstances. Too many. I can't tell people. People ask me all the time, I want to do my job, and I'm like, hey, no, don't try it. I just found myself in a place that life had prepared me for. People I went to secondary school with, university, people I had done business with. I was just stumbling and meeting people, having learned, how to network, sales and marketing, how to pitch myself, how to pitch ideas. Even coming in and consulting for filmmakers, that was adding value to them. I would go to the cinemas with them and help them sell tickets, even if I wasn't in their films. And this was me just adding value. The amount of grace that I have enjoyed, whilst I say that I had solid training, I'll tell you, I can tell you the business of acting. I will give an entire 2-hour lecture. But most of the things that happened to me was purely by grace. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right knowledge from my past. And that's really it. And I'm always asking myself, what's next, you know? And that opens up my mind, you know, to possibilities. And I just keep trying to be a better version of myself. I wish I was even a better person. Like I truly wish, you know, to become a better person, character-wise, personality-wise, you know, everything, integrity, industry, which is, you know, just being more hardworking. Intelligence, which is just knowing more. You know, I want to read more. I want to be more. And because of that, you know, I set these goals, and you know, I'm forced to become that. When I started making money, I started getting complacent. I started getting into comfort zones. I was reminded about how I left my parents' house and the family business, you know, leaving that comfort zone and getting into a place where I was broke. And that, you know, was really what put the fire in me, you know, to achieve things. Then I started making some money and I just relaxed. I had to learn how to simulate being broke without necessarily really being broke. So, simple strategy: find some asset, some investment where your money is locked up for a year or 2 years. You can't touch it. You're forced to now because you'll be hungry. You'll be like, okay, I can't touch this money. I don't have anything to do. You know, what next? How do I make new money? Have a bank account that has no internet access. You don't have any online banking. You don't have any ATM card. You have to literally walk to the bank and sign forms and fill. I hate filling forms, you know. So that worked perfectly. So anything that goes there is literally gone, or it's so uncomfortable for me to get to it. So I'm constantly simulating that on the one hand, and then constantly increasing my goals. Because if I've achieved a certain level and I remain there, you know, I'm not motivated to grow. So all that simulating discomfort is what I'm talking about. It even involves increasing your goals. Because once you set a higher goal, certainly one that makes you uncomfortable, you know, then you're back to ground zero. You're starting all over again, and you want to keep starting all over again and learning more. You know, that's really what you want to be. We're human beings. You know, we're not human doings. We're not what we do. We can't become anything, literally become anything that we set our minds to become. Figure out what you enjoy doing. Look back into your life. What were you congratulated for when you were a child? What were you praised for? What did people look at you and say was distinct about you, was unique? Sometimes it might even sound like a bad thing. I was always told I was, what's that word again? Mischievous. Since as far back as I can remember. Mischievous. Do you know it was 2020 that I fully embraced that word mischievous? And then I got on social media and I started causing some true mischief with my friends. And we were having fun, everybody. And I've always been that kind of guy with my friends who, you know, I always have this quick answer to everything, you know, very quick-witted, because I was a short man before, so my mouth was very sharp. And so on social media, my friends will now do some things, and I started to respond, and everybody would just crack up and laugh and have a great time. I went from maybe 100,000 followers on Instagram to 500,000 within a year, just to show you the response to what I've been called my entire life, and then I finally embraced it. You know, look back, embrace who you are. The things that, you know, would make for a good life, take those things and amplify those things. And if there are things that you need to steer away from, stay clear of, then you do that as well. Talk to someone. Talk to people, you know, that you trust. If you need to talk to a therapist, as I had to at some point in my life when things were really getting strange, yeah, do that as well. But above all, just strive to be the best version of yourself for the rest of your life. Just keep striving to be a better version, a better version, a better version of yourself. It's really important that I shake off the character that I play, because I play some really
Interesting.
just to use the word interesting, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to bring them home.
So how do you do that? How do you manage? How do you balance?
It's almost like rehab. So it's a detox type thing where you have to go through a process to flush out.
After every
Yes,
single
because if you're going to do justice to a character, you have to become that character and take on, the persona, the character. You think like the character. So if the person is somebody who easily gets angered and enraged, there's a thought process that makes that person go along those lines. Each character has different ways that they respond, different ways that they process things. You don't want to take a nasty character home.
Sit down, let's talk about that.
So every character presents a unique challenge. Every character. Even when the character is close to home. I remember Gideon Tokumbo. Tokumbo was a tech guy. That's my first, that's why I left OLX to do Gideon season 2.
Manish, look, the UI inconsistencies are way too many. On the migration page, for example, I need the desktop build-out to have the same functionalities as the app.
Tokumbo was a tech guy. I was a tech guy. Tokumbo had some daddy issues. I had some daddy issues. Tokumbo had a thing for, for women. And, I had my, experiences. Tokumbo rode a power bike. I was a biker in real life. In fact, they probably made Tokumbo a biker because I was a biker in real life. So it was close to home. But even then, it afforded me the ability to see myself in 3D, literally, and to process all of those things. Remember there was a scene where Tokumbo's father died, and for that entire day, the question and the scenario that was playing in my mind was, what would happen if this man that you've had issues with for so many years, without you having these conversations, without you resolving these issues, And so the entire day I was literally in mourning, and it was right below the surface. It was right below the surface until we get to that scene and it's action and we're in it and I lose it. Like I literally lose it. That was my father in my arms. I lose it. Like, I think that whole night I was shaking.
Daddy.
So different characters present different challenges. Some emotional, some physical. Like I told you, Blink, the short film, we had to learn how to breathe. At that point, I think I could hold my breath for maybe 3 to 4 minutes out of the water. And then we got underwater and realized that we couldn't even hold our breaths at the maximum because we'll float. You'll be a bit buoyant. So we had to go in at half tank, like the lungs half filled. When we tried it. That's physical. And of course there are other physical things, like I was in a movie recently where there was some physical activity, there was a fight scene, and I realized, or I decided, I'm gonna give this guy a unique fighting style. So I started boxing 2 months before. Boxing is hard. yeah, I don't know how this guy do it, but it's really hard. And I was in the gym, weight training, so I got buff to give the character a very menacing, and this story is interesting. And they're different things. I played some psychotic character. I played a 60-something-year-old man before, and I just had to sink into, that character and that age, and just try to ask myself, from what I'd seen and the conversation I've had with several people, older people that I'd interacted with, how they think, how they move, how they breathe, different things. And I took on that persona. Actors are people that have gone through issues and can revisit those issues without remaining there. Yes. So, getting back into some places and then bringing out those emotions and then locking the things right back and, exercising them, is really the job. So yeah, there definitely, there's nothing that I'm not open. Like, if it serves the story, you'll be surprised. I will do it. It will serve the story, and I will do it within the value system that I have. And again, it's film, so there are different ways you can tell a story. The importance of networking is very important. It's very important, because you're going to be hired by people, right? So you have to be able to pitch yourself to those people. It's like you're constantly interviewing, for different companies, but this time the companies are the producers. The offices where you're doing the interviews will be those events. Sometimes, sometimes you're visiting, people on set, your friends are on set, you visit so you can get close to the director or the producer, you can have an opportunity to meet them. You're constantly looking for opportunities to interact. But even before all of that, who do you want to work with? What kind of films do you want to do? Who are the people that are doing those films? I think I had a list of about 10 of the top producers in this country. I think there's only one that I'm yet to work with. But it's very important to decide who you want to work with and then now find ways to interact with them. I know how I want to feel. I know I want to be happy. I want to feel fulfilled. I know I want to spread that feeling, among people around me. It's really important, That I know for a fact. I didn't see many years ago where I am today. It was a step-by-step process. I saw the next thing. I took a step, then I saw the next thing. I took another step to the next thing. Right now, I just want to perform at the highest possible level in the world. I want to do what I'm doing as an actor at the highest possible level in the world. That is it, ultimately. And wherever that leads me, I will go. Again, I think that we're all gifted, to add value to people. As an actor, that value would be to lift up whatever kind of, feelings of maybe depression or pain or suffering. Sometimes it's to inspire. The characters are inspiring them to be better people, to reach for more, to do more with their lives. So it's very important, that I exercise this gift. It started off as, I wouldn't even say passion, as an interest. And as I got feedback, that I was doing good, I wanted to do more and be better. And that's my definition of passion. Just getting feedback and wanting to do more. That's passion. So you cannot be passionate about something you've never done before. It's not a desire, it's a totally different thing. So I started off doing this and I was passionate about it. I wasn't earning a dime. Then it became a career where I started getting paid huge sums of money to do what I absolutely love doing. It's kind of like pay me to breathe. You know, that's how I've always felt, that people are literally paying me to breathe. Eventually, I would love to be in a place where I transcend, you know, the need to exchange my gift for financial gain, and just do things I'm genuinely happy about. Maybe that might mean creating content that I absolutely believe in, or collaborating with people to create that kind of content. It might be here in the country, in Nigeria. It could be anywhere else in the world. It might even be that I discover oil or a diamond field, and I become so wealthy that I can act for free. Yeah. That's the future right there.